Spicy ladies. Have you ever been with a guy who seemed into you but not obsessed? The chemistry was there, but something was missing. He liked you, but wasn't addicted to the feeling of you. You weren't the one he couldn't stop thinking about when he was alone, the one his body craved and his heart remembered. And the truth is, every woman at some point wonders, how do I become unforgettable to him? Not just emotionally, but physically. We're not talking about manipulation. We're not talking about tricks that wear off after a night. We're talking about cultivating an energy, a sensuality that makes a man think about you long after the moment is over. So today, I'm giving you 6 easy, real-life tricks that will win you over and make you the woman who doesn't just attract him, but hooks him, physically, sexually, emotionally, and energetically. Let's jump in. There's something every woman needs to understand if she wants to capture a man, not just for a night, but in his mind for weeks, even months. It's this. A man may respond to what he sees, but he becomes obsessed with what he imagines. You see, visual attraction is immediate. It's dopamine. It's impulse. It's surface-level excitement. But mental attraction, that's what lingers. That's what keeps him lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering why you felt so different. That's what makes him chase, not just because he wants you physically, but because he's addicted to how you make him feel. And most women don't play in that space. They're so focused on looking perfect, showing just the right amount of skin, or trying to be visually impressive that they miss the real opportunity to awaken his imagination. When you speak to a man's imagination, you shift his attraction from his eyes to his soul. You become the woman he wants to figure out, the one who's always just one layer deeper than he expected. It starts small. Maybe it's the way you look at him while he's talking, like you know something he doesn't, or the way your fingertips graze his arm during conversation, and then disappear before he's sure it was intentional. Maybe it's your voice, slightly lower when you speak in private, or that one time you leaned in close and whispered, "You smell really good right now," and then casually change the subject. These are the moments that don't give everything away. They suggest, they tease, and that teasing doesn't make you less confident. It makes you dangerous in the most attractive way, because a woman who knows how to speak to a man's imagination isn't trying to impress him. She's creating mystery. She doesn't walk into a room and try to be the sexiest woman there. Instead, she's the one he notices without knowing why. Why? She smiles like she's got a secret, listens like she's undressing his mind, and leaves him guessing. And men crave that mystery more than they'll ever admit, especially in a world where everything feels instant and accessible. A woman who doesn't give it all away, who keeps just a little bit behind her eyes, is like a drug. This isn't about being manipulative or playing hard to get. It's about knowing your worth. It's about not over-explaining yourself, not oversharing, not handing over your entire essence before he's even earned the right to witness it. It's about showing him that the more he leans in, the more he'll discover. But only if he slows down enough to truly see you. When you can connect on that level, he won't just be turned on, he'll be hooked. Because obsession doesn't begin in the bedroom. It begins in the mind. And when you learn to live there, through your presence, your subtlety, your confidence, you don't just attract a man. You haunt him in the best possible way. If you want to drive a man wild, not just with desire, but with deep, focused craving, you have to understand the psychological power of delayed gratification. Most people rush intimacy. They move fast, looking for a higher moment, a hit of validation. But here's what separates the women men enjoy from the ones they become obsessed with. It's the woman who knows how to create tension by holding back, just at the right time. When you slow things down, when you pause right at the edge of pleasure or closeness, you don't just leave him wanting more. You train his desire to stay with you. His mind stays open. His body stays alert. And every time he thinks he's getting closer, you stretch that moment just a little longer. That's the sweet spot. That's the moment he starts to feel addicted. Spicy ladies, thank you for watching to here. I appreciate it. If you have same feeling, leave the spicy lady +1 comment below. That's my motivation. Let's continue. We live in a culture of instant gratification, where people swipe, click, consume, and discard. But nothing that comes instantly is ever truly valued. You know it. I know it. And deep down, so does he. So when you become a woman who doesn't rush into every kiss, every touch, every confession, it creates emotional contrast. Suddenly, he's not in control of the pace anymore. You are, and that slight delay, that space you create, becomes a breeding ground for fantasy. Because in that pause, his imagination ignites. In that hesitation, his body gets louder, his curiosity grows, and his respect deepens. You're no longer just someone he's touching. You're someone he's chasing. It doesn't have to be theatrical. It can be as simple as letting your lips hover near his before pulling away with a smile, or brushing past him in the hallway, touching his chest lightly, and then turning your back before he can react. Even the way you respond to his text can build this rhythm, being warm and flirty, then letting a little space happen before you engage again. It's not about being cold. It's about creating a pull, a rhythm of give and retreat, a tension that turns every interaction into a dance. Because sexual obsession isn't built through constant stimulation. It's built through the wait. Men don't fall in love with the women who are always available. They fall for the ones who awaken their desires slowly, deliberately, and unpredictably. When you show him that he doesn't get everything the moment he wants it, you show him that your energy is valuable, that your attention is precious. And then, if he wants more of your time, your touch, your intimacy, he's going to have to lean in and earn it. Stay there. And once he does, he'll find himself hungry for the next moment, then the next. And then suddenly, he's not just attracted to you. He's hooked on the way you move, the way you make him wait, the way you make every little moment feel like foreplay. That's how obsession starts. Not in the moment of pleasure, but an exquisite build-up to it. If you want to know the trait that sets the most sexually magnetic women apart from everyone else, it's this. They are unapologetically confident in their own pleasure. They don't wait for permission to feel. They don't hold back out of fear they'll seem too much or too forward. They own their desire. They're not performing for anyone. They're tuned into themselves. And when a woman does that, it's irresistible. Because the truth is, a man doesn't become sexually obsessed with a woman who just makes him feel good. He becomes obsessed with a woman who makes herself feel good in his presence. Think about it. When a woman is self-conscious, guarded, or disconnected from her body, that energy transfers. A man can feel when you're in your head instead of your body. And even if you're trying to please him, that disconnect prevents real intimacy from happening. But when a woman is present with herself, when she breathes into what she enjoys, when she allows herself to feel, she becomes magnetic. Her confidence in her own pleasure creates permission for him to fully show up. 2. He doesn't feel like he's just trying to impress her. He feels like he's part of something real and raw. This could show up in the way you moan softly when something feels good, whether it is touch, his words, or just being near him. It could be in the way you arch slightly towards something you want instead of holding back. It could even be in the boldness of you saying, "Don't stop," or "I like it when you do that," without a hint of shame. That doesn't make you needy. That makes you powerful. A woman who is aware of her body and unafraid to express what she enjoys isn't overwhelming. She's liberating, and that energy becomes unforgettable. What's even more beautiful is that this kind of confidence isn't about being loud or putting on a show. It's quiet, grounded, and sensual. It's the kind of energy that walks into a room and instantly raises the temperature. Not because she's trying to be sexy, but because she's so comfortable in her own skin that everyone else starts to feel her presence. And when a man gets a taste of that, a woman who doesn't seek approval for her pleasure, but instead radiates it. He doesn't just want to be near her. He wants to serve her. He wants to be the one who unlocks the next level of expression in her. So never shrink your pleasure to make someone else comfortable. Don't dull your fire to avoid being too bright. Because the man who's meant for you won't just be drawn to that confidence. He'll be obsessed with the way it makes him feel alive. 2. Routine is the enemy of desire. Predictability kills passion. And yet, most people get so comfortable, so safe in their habits that they forget what it means to spark surprise. If you want a man to become sexually obsessed with you, not just attracted, but completely drawn in, you have to give him the one thing his nervous system craves, but rarely gets: the unexpected. Because when something unexpected happens in a moment of closeness, it hits his brain differently. It shocks his attention awake. It makes him take notice. And that little jolt of surprise is the gateway to obsession. The women men never forget are the ones who made them feel something new, not through over-the-top gestures or rehearsed seduction, but through subtle moments that broke the script, like a spontaneous touch. Maybe you're mid-conversation, and you run your fingers down his forearm while holding eye contact. Or maybe you grab his tie or hoodie and pull him closer unexpectedly, not to kiss him, but just to be closer. Maybe you leave him a voice note late at night, not sultry, but soft and intimate. Something real. Your voice slower, warmer than usual, and with a playful, bet you'll replay this. These small, creative disruptions of patterns speak directly to his primal brain. And here's what's wild. Men don't even realize it's happening. They'll just feel this magnetic pull toward you, like you're doing something different, something they can't quite put their finger on. You're not predictable. You're not just checking boxes. You're creating a unique emotional experience. And humans are wired to chase what feels rare. You don't have to be outrageous or unexpected. You just have to be present. That's where the spark lives. It could be the way you compliment something other women overlook, like the sound of his laugh or how his energy calms yours. It could be how you flirt and then pull back with a knowing smile, or how you look at him after long silence and say, "You're trouble." That kind of moment is not expected, and that's exactly why it lands so hard. Here's what happens when you give him the unexpected. You shake him out of autopilot. Most of his day is predictable. He knows the emails he'll get, the meetings he'll attend, the conversations he'll have. But you become the one part of his day that breaks the pattern. And when you break a man's pattern and make him feel alive, he starts to crave you. Not just your body, but your presence. You become the most interesting part of his world. So don't be afraid to surprise him, to show him sides of you that aren't always polished or scripted or planned. The messiness, the spontaneity, the boldness, those are what make you real. And that's what makes you unforgettable. It makes him not just want you, but need you in the deepest, most magnetic way. The most addictive women, the ones men can't stop thinking about, are the ones who know how to blend two incredibly powerful energies, playfulness and seduction. They don't pick one. They create contrast. Because when you're only playful, you might be fun but forgettable. And when you're only seductive, you risk being one-dimensional without emotional connection. But when you mix both, you become magic. You become the woman who makes him laugh one minute and leaves him breathless the next. Playfulness makes you feel approachable. It disarms him. It invites him in. It tells him, "I'm not trying too hard. I'm enjoying myself, and you're lucky enough to be part of this." A playful woman teases him lightly, gives him that mischievous grin, pushes him away with a wink, and then pulls him right back in. It's flirtation, not performance. It keeps things light. But underneath that lightness is fire. And that's where seduction slips in like velvet. Seduction isn't about being overtly sexual. It's about energy, tone, stillness, the way your eyes linger, the way your voice softens when you drop into a more intimate moment. Seduction is about tension. Not giving everything but suggesting everything. When you let your playfulness fade into a pause, when you lean in just a little closer, when your laugh slows into a smile that says, "I could wreck you if I wanted to," that's the moment he starts losing his mind. That contrast throws his entire system off balance in the best way, because now he's unsure what to expect from you. And that's the thrill. Spicy ladies. A man becomes obsessed when he can't quite figure you out. One minute you're teasing him about how long it takes him to make a decision. The next, you're brushing your hand along his chest and whispering something that makes him forget how to breathe. That emotional roller coaster, the shift from playful banter to smoldering tension, is what keeps his mind locked on you. It's a dance. You lead it. You control the rhythm. And every time you switch gears, his desire for you deepens. This kind of energy doesn't require a script. It just requires presence. It's about reading the room, feeling the moment, trusting yourself enough to let the playful side come out without fear looking silly, and letting the seductive side emerge without fear being too much. Because the truth is, when you give him both, he doesn't just desire you. He wants to keep discovering you. He wants to see what you'll do next, what you'll say next, how you'll make him feel next. So be bold enough to play. Be brave enough to seduce. And don't compartmentalize the two, because when you weave them together, when you become the woman who can melt with a laugh and unravel him with a single look, you don't just capture his attention, you own it. If you truly want to become unforgettable to a man, not just someone he was attracted to, but someone who lives rent-free in his body and mind, there's one powerful thing you must do. Leave him with a signature sensation, a feeling, a touch, a moment that becomes uniquely yours. Something so tied to your presence that even when you're gone, it lingers. And this isn't about sex. It's about energy. The emotional fingerprint you leave behind that no one else can replicate. It could be the way you hug him. Not quick or generic, but slow and grounding. The kind that feels like a breath of calm in a chaotic world. Maybe it's the way your fingertips trace lightly down his spine when you pull away. Maybe it's the way you whisper, "I like this," when you're wrapped around him, saying it not like a script, but like you're completely in the moment. Maybe it's the way you hold his face when you kiss him, or how you pause just before your lips touch, letting him feel the weight of the anticipation. Most women don't think this way. They focus on what to do rather than what to leave. But the women men obsess over are the ones who leave behind something he can't shake. A scent on his pillow, a phrase that replays in his mind, a look you gave him right before you walked out the door. These moments become emotional anchors. And no matter who he's with, no matter what he tries to distract himself with, you are the one who shows up in his memory because you created something felt. Here's what makes it even more powerful. The more subtle it is, the more effective it becomes. When it's not forced, when it's not about trying to impress him, when it's just you, fully present, in control of the moment, moving slowly, intentionally, confidently, that's what registers. Because most people move too fast. They touch without thinking. They kiss without feeling. They rush the moment. But when you slow down, when you stretch time just enough for him to feel the moment, your energy sinks into his skin and stays there. A man doesn't get obsessed with performance. He gets obsessed with presence. And the signature sensation you leave behind doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be yours. Something he can't get from anyone else. Something so emotionally layered that it becomes the bar every other connection is measured against. So ask yourself, what will he remember when you're not there? What energy, what tone, what feeling will live in his body when the room is quiet and the lights are off? That's your superpower. That's how you turn chemistry into craving. And that's how you make a man not just desire you, but need the experience of you again and again. So let's bring it home. The truth is, anyone can turn a man on. That's easy. But very few women know how to stay on his mind, to make him feel something that's not just physical, but personal, unique, haunting in the best way possible. Because obsession doesn't come from what you show. It comes from what you awaken in him. How you stretch a moment. How you move with confidence. How you make him feel like he just entered a new world. And that world is you. You don't need to compete with anyone. You don't need to be the loudest, the boldest, or the most provocative. You just need to understand your power and how to use it with purpose. So, if you're done playing small, if you're ready to create not just chemistry, but deep soul-level craving, then I want you to comment below right now and write, "I am unforgettable," because that's who you are when you stop chasing approval and start owning your energy. And if this spoke to you, if you felt even one part of your identity come alive as you listened, then don't keep this to yourself. Share it with your best friend, your sister, that one woman who needs to remember who she is. Subscribe for more tools, more truth, and more power in your love life, because this isn't about game. It's about becoming the kind of woman a man never stops wanting to earn. And trust me, once you tap into this version of yourself, there's no going back. Stay true to yourself. To all the spicy ladies make life beautiful, thank you for watching, and God bless.